Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. A few years ago, when we were serving in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Gordon Brown was running for re-election, hoping to see the Labour Party continue in office. In that endeavour, he decided to visit the home of a 65-year-old widow named Gillian Duffy in Rochdale, northwestern England. There he discussed with Gillian Duffy the size of Britain's national debt, taxes, immigration issues, and all this on live television. The exchange was not straightforward, however. Mrs. Duffy was in no way a rubber stamp for Gordon Brown's ideas. After the visit, the Prime Minister climbed into his Jaguar and was driven away, but forgot that he was still wearing a live radio microphone, allowing broadcasters to pick up his conversation with an aide who was travelling with him. That was a disaster, Brown said about the exchange with Mrs. Duffy. Should never have put me with that woman. Whose idea was that? She was just sort of a bigoted woman. Well, the bigoted woman comment went viral, of course, and Mrs. Duffy was not amused. She told reporters she wanted an apology from Brown for his comments, which she found very upsetting. Now, Prime Minister Gordon Brown was the son of a minister of the Church of Scotland, who had been a strong influence on his son. Little wonder then, and to his credit, Brown later returned to Rochdale and visited Gillian Duffy at her home to try to make amends. After the visit, he emerged to tell reporters, "I am mortified by what has happened. I have given her my sincere apologies. I misunderstood what she said. She's accepted that there was a misunderstanding, and she has accepted my apology. If you like, I'm a penitent sinner." Brown had moved from calling someone a bigoted woman to referring to himself as a penitent sinner. That was progress, and he deserves credit for humbling himself to the point of returning to Mrs. Duffy to apologize and to seek to restore relationship. Although it was politically expedient to do so, it still called for humility and courage on his part. The encounter with Mrs. Duffy was immediately seized on, however, by users of social networking sites, with opinions polarized between those who said bigoted woman comment would damage Labour in the May 6 general election, and then those on the other hand who believed that it could help the party that was trailing the opposition Conservatives in opinion polls. Some comments were very thought-provoking. One person tweeted, "Anyone else up for making all politicians wear a microphone at all times?" Now there's a thought. No more fake news, no more alternative news, no more propaganda. If politicians wore microphones all the time, how good would that be? And not just politicians, how about reporters and journalists, the media? I wonder how willing I would be to wear a live microphone at all times. How about you? Do we ever say things behind people's backs that we would never say if they were present? Any room for improvement there? In Sunday school, we used to sing, "He sees all you do, he hears all you say. My God's a writing all the time." Oh yes, our microphone is live so far as God is concerned. We're accountable not just to each other, but to God. The Bible tells us that everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him with whom we have to whom we have to give account. God doesn't miss a thing. And the Apostle Paul instructed his helper Timothy, "Be an example to all believers in what you say." He directed the Colossians, "Let your conversation be always full of grace." The Apostle Peter weighed in on the subject too. Be done with all deceit, hypocrisy, jealousy, and all unkind speech. And the Apostle James also had a lot to say about how we talk. People can tame all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and fish, but no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil, full of deadly poison. Sometimes it praises our Lord the Father, and sometimes it curses those who have been made in the image of God. And so blessing and cursing come out of the same mouth. Surely, my brothers and sisters, this is not right. Does a spring of water bubble out with fresh water and bitter water? Does a fig tree produce olives or a grapevine produce figs? I recall another Sunday school song. Oh, be careful, little tongue, what you say. Oh, be careful, little tongue, what you say. For the Father up above is looking down in love, so be careful, little tongue, what you say. Before you criticize Gordon Brown for his bigoted woman comment, let's check how we ourselves are doing in the gossip department. And if the shoe fits, wear it. Thank you for tuning in once again to Village Church Connections.